What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. The battle between longs and shorts does continue. I want to go over some of the data points and what shorts are doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So it is down 10.59%, 283 the low, 399 the high. During the pre-market, there was a certain level of optimism. It hit just shy of $4. In fact, there is a lot of squeeze stocks really moving higher today. So shorts are starting to cut their losses in many cases. Just when it comes down to Opendoor, they seem to be really hell-bent on destroying it and trying to bring it down. So again, like I said, there is that battle, but a lot of squeeze stocks are really moving higher. More notably, I think Kohl's is really trending. It is up 41% right now. It did have a high of 21.28, but nonetheless, there hasn't been any news associated to Opendoor today. No SEC filings or anything like that. At the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 8.76 million shares. So keep in mind, that is net, right? Because on a daily basis, they trade back and forth. So net, they're increasing around 9 million shares. For an example, even yesterday, there was 1.07 billion shares that was traded. Of that, 447 million was short. So shorts, I think by the end of it, all said and done, they did increase. I think it was like 10, 11 million shares. So definitely they make up for a huge chunk of the daily volume. So again, this is, I wanted to give you a little bit of a additional context, but right now they are really doubling down. 29.7% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 194.61 million shares overall being shorted. Cost of borrow average kind of inching up from yesterday, so it is sitting at 29.5. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate, so it's not that big of a deal. But generally, you can kind of see from this pink line right here, shorts have been massively doubling down. So they're being very reactive to the stock price. And as I mentioned yesterday, they have been largely doubling down throughout April and pretty much up until the present. So they are one of the biggest attributing factors why the stock has been suppressed to the magnitude it has been. But of course, with it gaining some popularity and starting to move higher, they're doubling and tripling down. So again, like I said, there is a battle, and it's either going to result in a huge squeeze, significantly higher, or regrettably, shorts might kind of win and cause this to be suppressed. At the time of doing this video, though, you are seeing a lot of big transactions occurring on the secondary market and also the dark pool. A lot of big clearly big institutions are buying based on this. So it's good to see, even on the dark pool, a lot of big transactions. Unfortunately, this is where a lot of hedge funds and also shorts like to hide a lot of their transactions. Even at 11:30, there was a 4.3 million share transaction, works out to be 14.3 million. So a lot of big money is definitely trading Opendoor today, as you can kind of see. So let me know your general thoughts on that. But unfortunately, shorts are really hell-bent on trying to suppress it. One positive thing I do want to bring up, though, is based on this, there is 0 shares available to be shorted. So potentially, shorts are kind of on borrowed time. Of course, you could be seeing some institutions buying Opendoor just for the purposes of lending out the stock. But nonetheless, this could result in maybe a little bit more of an abnormal push higher, a little bit of a squeeze. So just kind of be aware of that. But nonetheless, though, looking at some of the options, we have so far 75 million in calls, 23 million in puts, and 50% of all the options being done so far today are bearish in nature. So institutions, more specifically in the first half of the trading day, have been really hedging and assuming that Opendoor is going to really pull back. So again, that's something that's a little bit more of a sentiment overall. But aside from that, the bulls are anticipating for it to be kind of around that $4.50 to $5 range. And as I mentioned in my video yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised if market makers opened up more additional chains, and lo and behold, that's exactly what did happen. So I mentioned even yesterday, most likely after my video, they'll be opening it up. So there was new chains, I believe from 8 to 950. So that goes to show that market makers do feel that there is a good likelihood that that could actually hit. And some people are clearly buying it up, so 950, so that's pretty good stuff. Bears on the flip side are anticipating for it to kind of pull back to sub 250. So again, you kind of have that level ground. I know when it comes down to a momentum and a squeeze play, you kind of have to take all this with a grain of salt. But for those of you that are looking at averaging down, day trading, or whatever else, with it right now at 285, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 252 is going to be a strong support, and then 362 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by 430. If this 252 does break, at least coming from a technical standpoint, then this is where you could see it back in the kind of high ones, unfortunately. But still, I think there is a lot of battles to be had throughout the next couple of trading days. If you believe that this is a squeeze play, then obviously buy the dip, do what you need to do. But generally speaking, shorts seem to be very much overwhelming Opendoor today. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as looking on the actual chart, there's really no point in bringing it up because currently it is above all the key pivotal moving averages, and stochastic RSI, it's considered very overbought. So that's obviously happens with any momentum stock in a squeeze play. So let me know your general thoughts. Do you think that, I guess, the squeeze is done? Do you think that we're going to have more consolidation and then a further push higher? Or do you think that, I don't know, what's your kind of general thoughts on all this? One thing I do want to bring up though is essentially because of the pullback that happened yesterday, a lot of people were very curious on what happened, why it dropped from roughly high fours to kind of the $2 range. And that was because of this. So there was a Form D that was submitted, and this company right here, Opendoor Partners LLC, supposedly, again, the rumor is that I guess this was submitted around the same time frame as the pullback. And conveniently, on a side note, I actually put out my video yesterday about how kind of analyzing the data. I think 5 minutes after I put out the video, it tanked like crazy. But nonetheless, the rumor is that this right here, miscommunication, just people assuming that these are the same company, this is what prompted a pullback. So let me know your general thoughts. I figured I'd kind of bring this up. But yeah, what's your viewpoint on shorts? Do you think that they are going to give in, or what's your kind of thoughts? And looks like they kind of increased a small amount, so now it's 8.84 million. So overall, pretty good stuff. One final thing though, if you are looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, and I've actually brought up Opendoor several times over the last couple trading days. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.